Hello, my name is John Cummings, and I am your host for Inside Westwood. Today we have with us the Director of Economic Development, Nora Loughnane. Nora, thank you for coming down and joining us. It's been a while. Can you update us on University Ave?
I'd be happy to. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here.
The first thing since the last time I was here that I want to talk about is the Brigham and Women Medical Center that was opened on University Station. So that's a terrific new addition to our town. It's a multifaceted medical office building, has primary and specialty care facilities. It opened on October 1st. So a great addition to the community, great close-to-home resources for all our residents. Something else people may have noticed, 2 condominium buildings are being constructed down there between the Brigham Women's Hospital medical building and the Bridges Memory Care Facility. There's 2 50-unit condo buildings. They're called Westwood Place. And the first one is expected to open in July. They've actually already sold out all 50 condo units for that building. The next building, another 50 units, will be opening later in 2019, and we expect to see those units go on sale in the early part of the year. So that's another project that's well underway. And then we recently heard that there's a proposed new office development on that same side of the street, right next to Not Your Average Joe's. So as you're approaching Not Your Average Joe's, you go up a road named Brigham Way that leads to the medical office building, and just to your right there's a vacant parcel of land.
The wide
and
open
that's
land.
Yes, that's proposed for a 40,000 square foot office building, which will be our first office building at University Station. So we're very excited about that.
That's fantastic.
And we expect the planning board to see plans for that in late January or early February.
Oh, well, good luck.
Thank you.
And so we dip back into Islington.
So Islington, and a lot has
Looks
gone
like
on
the
there.
fences are going up. So
They
it looks
are.
like they're about to begin.
They are. So as you know, the planning board back in April approved a flexible multiple use overlay district, FMUOD special permit, for a mixed use development there. Town meeting on May 30th approved 3 articles. 2/3 of town voters voted in favor of those articles that allowed the project to go forward. The developer is Petruziella Properties, and they will construct in the first phase a CVS building on the corner of School Street and Washington Street. They will also relocate the Blue Heart Tavern to Washington Street and develop that for retail or restaurant on the first floor and an apartment above. Then in the second phase, the town will move Wentworth Hall, our Islington Library, across the street to where the municipal parking lot is now, and renovate the building and put an addition on for a new community center.
And won't there be underneath
A community center on the lower level, new parking, landscaping.
Wow.
We're going into the architectural design now, so that's an exciting project to work on.
It would be
And
nice to see it change.
It will. And also as part of that project, that phase, the second phase, Petruziella Properties will renovate the existing CVS building, and that will have not only commercial space, Crown Cleaner will stay there, there'll be a new commercial space, and then it'll also be a new home for MMO.
Nice.
So we're very excited about that. MMO gets to stay in Westwood in a brand new facility designed just for them, and they get to do so at the same lease rates that they've enjoyed for 14 years, I believe, with the town. So
That's not bad.
yeah, it's a terrific,
bad.
terrific project. So the Cafe Diva and Westwood Tailor Shop buildings are about to be demolished. They have their permits in hand, and I expect those to come down probably within the next week. CVS will begin construction. They'll do the site work over the winter and go vertical in the spring.
Wow.
So that's coming soon. And then we'll move into the second phase probably in the end of 2019. And then the third phase, which won't occur until at least the end of 2020, will be a new mixed-use building where the ICC is. So you may recall from back in the spring when we were discussing this project, the new building will be somewhat of a replica of the Islington Community Church building, but it'll have commercial, retail and restaurant on the first floor, and 18 condominiums
I remember
on the upper
renderings.
levels.
Yeah, they were good.
So it's an exciting project. It's going forward. The first step
And they're
before...
going to do a traffic study to make sure that they
Yes,
fix the
they've
lights.
already done the traffic study. Everything came out positive. There will be intersection improvements. One of the aspects that residents had expressed that they would like to see is a left turn arrow
Yes, please.
from southbound 1A onto East Street, so that's incorporated into the project.
Right into the nice new bridge.
Yes, so that's the next thing I
Ah.
get into. The MBTA has reconstructed the East Street Bridge, raised it slightly. It went from just under 11 feet in height to what it will eventually be 13.5 feet in height. it hasn't actually been raised that much. It's probably now about 12 feet in height, and
Foot and a half gradually underneath.
yes, the ground underneath it will be reduced in the springtime. So this bridge structure has been put in place, and now in the spring they'll do the roadway improvements, the sidewalks, landscaping, finish the project, put some nice edging on the
It's really nice.
on the
and
sides of
wide
the
now.
embankments.
The kids that will have to walk underneath the bridge all the time really appreciate it.
It's a lot safer.
A lot safer.
So.
And so one of the things is that under the bridge there'll be plenty of drainage and drainage pumps.
Yes, there will.
To move any water that may
There will.
possibly
The
get
drainage will be far improved over what it is. There will be wide sidewalks on both sides of the street instead of one narrow one, and there'll be bike lanes on both sides of the street. So
wow.
much improved. The new sidewalk will go all the way up to St. Denis Drive.
Oh,
So
nice.
there'll be a safe way. You'll actually be able to walk all the way from the Downey School along a sidewalk on the same side of the street without having to cross and get all the way down into Islington Center. So we're looking forward
That'll
to
be
completion
nice.
in the spring. One other thing I'd mention is the Islington clock was removed as part of the demolition work for the Islington Center redevelopment project. That's now at the clock manufacturer for restoration, and it'll be improved and returned to the site.
When it's all brand new.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Recycling.
So
Is
elsewhere
that
in
it?
town, well, that's it in those two areas, but I can tell you lots of other things going on throughout the town.
Oh, please.
Excuse me, sorry. So the first thing, the Board of Assessors recently met with the Board of Selectmen at the last meeting in November, I think it was November 26th, to report that commercial development has improved enough that they're able to make a slight reduction to the residential tax rate, while at the same time reducing the share of the commercial tax rate. The way it works right now, commercial development is about 15% of the value of land in the town, but they pay over 25% of taxes. So they made an adjustment, which is positive both for the commercial building owners and for the residents. So that's
Because
something
there's so
exciting.
much more commercial.
It's because
still
we have
shouldering
improved.
26%.
So we still
It's
have a long
just
way to
split
go.
it
Right.
A little better.
Still have a long way to go. We're trying to get up to 20%, but we're moving the needle in the right direction. So the University Station work, the Islington Center work, the prime dealerships that went up a couple of years ago on Route 1, all of that helps. So we're making good progress, so that's great to report.
So what else is the planning board doing?
So one thing they were looking at is a new proposal. An application was received for the Westwood Lodge Hospital site, and there's a proposal to redevelop that site for residential use. It's currently still being used as a hospital site. There are offices in there, no patients, but they're maintaining their right to redevelop it as another hospital site if this project doesn't go through. The company that's interested in developing is called the Green Company. They have a lot of work that they've done at the Pine Hills, and they have two ongoing projects, one in Sudbury and one in Ashland. So if you wanted to look up their website, the Green Company, and see what type of work they do. The proposal is for an age-restricted condominium development, townhouse condominiums. They're proposing 40 townhouse condominiums, and then on the perimeter of the lot, they're cutting off 6 single-family homes as approval not required lots. Now, part of this development would include a requirement for 15% of the townhouse units,
For the housing stock.
yes, to be affordable housing, to be listed on our subsidized housing inventory. The developer's initial request is that those 6 units of housing be off-site. The planning board can consider that. The default proposal would be for them to be 6 units of age-restricted on-site units, so six townhouses for residents 55 and older. The developer would prefer to develop 6 units elsewhere in town and not have them age restricted. So the planning board at their meeting, which is at the Downey School next Tuesday, December 11th, beginning at 7 o'clock, the planning board will consider the pros and cons of the different options.
Excellent.
Another thing to mention about this Westwood Lodge redevelopment proposal is that in order for this to go forward, in order for the planning board to issue a special permit, they'd also have to grant a waiver of a subdivision requirement for offset intersections. So the subdivision regulations require a minimum distance between an existing intersection and a proposed new intersection. In most cases, it's about a 600-foot distance between them. This development cannot meet that due to the shape and location of the property.
Because it's so close to Cliff.
It is. So it's right at the corner of Clabbertree and Winter Street, and they would have an entrance and an exit, or You
Within
could really go
600
both
feet.
ways, within 600 feet. So if the planning board is interested in granting that waiver, they could. If they don't feel it's safe or they have any other reasons why they would not like to see that go forward, they do not have to grant it. It's a discretional waiver.
And people can weigh in by emailing or calling
They can.
Abby?
So they can call Abby McCabe, they can send an email, or they can log on to the Westwood Planning Board's new Facebook page and post a comment there. Any means of communication
Or they
is
can go to the
welcome.
meeting.
Or they can go to the meeting at the Downey School, 7 o'clock on
And in lieu of
Tuesday,
the meeting,
December
I
11th.
know we'll have it up online.
Yes,
And they
yes,
can
the
watch it
plans
and
will be
send
on the
comments if they
planning
want?
board webpage, and then after the meeting, the video that Westwood Media Center posts will be available, so they can take a look at that and send
They're so
comments
good, that
after.
Westwood Media Center.
They are, they're
I
terrific. So it's an interesting proposal, and I think what the planning board has to grapple with is whether they would prefer to see this land developed for residential uses, or if they prefer to see a new hospital go in there. Those are really the options.
Okay.
So something else the board will consider at its meeting on Tuesday, December 11th, will be the open space recreation plan update. The planning board last approved an open space recreation development, open space recreation plan in 2000. So it's about 18 years old now, and we've had a committee working for about a year on an update to that. They've been working with a consultant. They had their last meeting at the end of November, and they recommended a draft plan to go to the planning board. Now, the planning board will take that plan, discuss it in an open meeting, receive further public input from residents and business owners and anyone who has any comments on it, and eventually approve some version of a new open space
Nice.
and recreation plan.
I'm
And
sure you've
then-
been working with them as well.
We have.
And I also wanted to make sure we note that if the new development goes in at the lodge, the kids' field that they use for
Yes,
soccer
I should
and
have mentioned
lacrosse,
that. Right, the town would
that would be
maintain
part
that
of the open
field. Yes.
space.
So it's an open space residential development plan, which requires a minimum of 50% of the land be preserved as open space.
And that would
That's
count.
one more. That would count. That's one more area where the planning board has to grant a waiver.
And we need more fields.
Because the bylaw requires it to be passive open space. That's active recreation space. I'm sure the planning board would be willing, I hope the planning board would be willing to grant that waiver because it preserves something very important to the town.
That would be nice if they made it a turf field, by the way. I'm just plugging it in there now.
That's always a possibility in the future, probably not right at the beginning. Also, I'd want to mention there's a lot of planning going on. So the housing production plan is under development right now. That's something being developed by the Housing Partnership and our housing agent, Sarah Bouchard. They've been working on that for a couple of months now. They began with a survey of residents about housing issues in town, and they had a community visioning workshop in November. It was attended by approximately 25 residents, but there were so many great comments made,
That's
lot
a good
of
showing,
information.
25 residents.
It
at a
was
meeting.
it was good, and they were very hands-on, actively engaged in discussions about housing, and I encourage people to take a look at the video of that that's available on the Westwood Media site. So great information. The next step is
It's a good thing the Westwood Media site is here because
is.
all these meetings you can't attend,
you can
a lot of
find
them
the
are
information.
online.
So information on that is all available. The draft plan, as soon as it's ready, will also be posted on the website. And comments can be submitted for that to Sarah Bouchard by phone, by email, or by attending the Housing Partnership meetings.
Oh, excellent.
Okay. The planning board is also working on the comprehensive plan. So this is the latest.
These people have been busy.
Very busy. So the Board of Selectmen appointed an 18-member steering committee for the comprehensive plan. They actually had 21 members, 21 residents originally put their names in, and then a couple decided they were too busy to do it. 18 remaining members were all appointed. They were assigned different elements of the comprehensive plan, so some will work on economic development, some on housing, some on transportation, all the different elements of the plan. And they will have meetings with the planning board throughout the coming year to discuss the element they're working on and what their proposals are for update. So again, all of those meetings will be posted on the town's website with the dates when the meetings will be held. People can attend the meetings,
An
send
excellent opportunity
emails,
for people
phone
to get
calls.
involved in the future of the town.
Yes, absolutely. So we're taking the goals and objectives that were established in 2000 and updating them to be what the town residents would like to see now in 2018. So that's an exciting project. It will actually take into account the goals in the open space plan, as well as the goals in the housing production plan. Those will be folded in to the new comprehensive plan.
Comprehensive plan.
Right. So after the planning board eventually approves and adopts a comprehensive plan, that will be forwarded to town meeting for endorsement. So we have full support of the town on that plan. It's likely that that will happen at best in the fall and possibly spring of 2020.
2020. And that'll go in front of the FinCom, so there'll be
That
lots of
will.
meetings for
That
everybody
will. So
to go
plenty
to.
of time for
Because
input.
people forget how important the FinCom is, especially in January and February when they vet everything that we're
They
going to see in
do.
the town.
I should also
meeting.
mention on the comprehensive plan, there will be a survey that's released, and there will be another visioning workshop just about the comprehensive plan. So
Oh,
stay
good.
tuned. Those will all be posted.
There's so many opportunities for people to get involved and to watch everything. Sometimes it's so overwhelming that they don't do it, and then they say, oh, how come I didn't know about this? It's out there.
Anyone who wants to know, every part of it is available. Westwood Media Center, the town website, the
Town
planning board's Facebook page, everything is available.
I always call you.
Well, that's
really
the other
best
option.
thing.
If you have a question, don't hesitate to call. Call me, call town
And you're always
planner
very
Abby
nice,
McCabe.
too, no matter how busy you are.
Well,
It's
thank
nice.
you. I try to be. Just two other things I want to mention. One is there are a couple of intersections that are being redesigned. So our Department of Public Works is going to hold a 25% hearing on a redesign of the Clabber Winter Street intersection. That will be scheduled for February 5th. And then there'll be another one, a 50% design plan for the Gay Street. That's not so much an intersection as Gay Street sidewalk plans. Those will be brought up to 50%, and the public meeting on that will be on February 12th. So mark those two meetings on your
February
calendar
12th?
if you're interested. February 5th for the Clabber Winter Street intersection improvements, and February 12th for the Gay Street sidewalk design.
Perfect.
You can get information. And then
Will
the
they
only
look
other
at the-
thing,
Will they look at the lodge development when they do that? When they're
yes,
looking
they
at the-
will. That will
Okay.
be part of the consideration in the design.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I want to mention is to remind people to tune into the Westwood Wire. So that's something available on the town webpage. You can
Yes, it's
sign
really
up
good.
to receive that. It's monthly information on everything that's going on in Westwood.
That's good. I'm on it. I can vouch for it. It has a tremendous amount of information and well-written. And
So I think that brings you up to date.
Nora, well, thank you so much. Happy holidays and Happy New Year.
To you too. Thank
Ah.
you for having me.
Thank you. Good luck, everyone.